A few months ago, Daryl and I travelled down to country Victoria following a lead on some old tanks, and what we came across was nothing short of incredible.
How good is this?
3 almost complete Australian Grant tanks that were all rescued from being scrapped over many years by Robert Parker. His son Jono and grandsons have allowed them to be acquired by the Australian Armour and Artillery Museum. "13 hours of hard work and 4 semi-trailers later, they began their 2,700 kilometre journey up to their new home in Cairns, far north Queensland. At first, we were going to put them into storage until we were ready to restore them, but the response to this short series was so huge that we decided to display one as it was in the museum. That was until a bloke by the name of Frye, our mate who has helped us a lot on our recently completed Grant Tank project, offered to perform what is known as a Patina Restoration. A Patina Restoration means reassembling, repairing and freeing up the components of a vehicle without sandblasting and painting. It will contrast really nicely with our newly restored Grant. So sit back, relax and enjoy Ron and some new faces as they perform a Grant Tank Rust-oration. This Grant was the only one with its tracks still fitted. Ron has already done a lot of work, fitting the 75mm gun, pressure washing and vacuuming the interior, fitting engine components, hatches, kitting out the interior with all original parts, and much, much more. Here's a comparison shot of the exhaust grenade mesh before and after. Now he's approaching the final stages of the build. The next job is to try and free up the turret ring.
Alright, that's it. Now I've got to rattle the top. All this is rusted into the ball bearings. So I'm going to try and rattle this loose and then hopefully lift it somehow. Yeah, that worked well.
Yeah, plenty was coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going in a lot better now.
Ron is using a tap to clear out the rust and debris so that the bolts can go in a little easier.
Yeah, look at all that rust. No wonder it didn't turn. Every single one of those ball bearings having resistance on it. There's 120 of them. 120 resistance. It's just, you would never have moved that unless we pulled it apart.
Yeah, look at all the leaves in there.
Yeah, I'm hoping if I can keep rocking it and blowing it out. I really don't want to have to pull all these out because it's a real hassle getting them back in and underneath that lip there. Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Woohoo! That thing got
wow.
me in it yet, and we're moving it. Awesome! Look at that!
Yeah! Wow!
40 years it's been sitting in the elements. American engineering, everything's done nice. Yeah, I'm real happy.
Excellent.
I don't have to pull it all apart.
check that out, man.
Get some lube in it now. Right, let's see what this will do. I'll give that a wipe down and then I'll grease in there and put that lock ring back on again. All lubed, spreading it as I turn. Same thing like when I put grease in there. I hate assembling them because I pre-lube them and then they all fall out and they get dirt all over them, so it's best doing it all dry and then lubing them afterwards.
Ron has restored many Grant, Lee, Stewart and Matilda tanks over the years. I doubt there's anyone else out there in the world that knows as much about restoring these vehicles as he does.
Spreading around in there. And the grease is still through. Can't do it one-handed now. That's fine. Now we'll put this at 12 o'clock. Alright. The thing about this is there's no front to back, as long as you line the holes up. I've spent like a week on doing one of these when I got to pull it all apart. Look at that, just drops in, all lined up. Now I'm ready to put the bolts in from underneath. Where is it? Just check it. Oh, beautiful. Just the right amount of resistance there.
The next component to be fitted is the turret basket.
Really about to fall over a turret basket there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Our one was a bit better.
that one's seen better days. This one was in really rough shape. Helping Ron out with this part is Dirk. He's an engineer from Germany who emailed us a few weeks ago asking if he could come over and volunteer with us for a little while. He restores old military trucks for fun and his prior experience in the Bundeswehr driving tanks. So he said, why not?
Oh, hang on. Right, okay. Stop.
The idea here is to go through and screw the bolts in, which will hopefully pull it back into round, but it's a little bit more tricky than what we thought it would be.
Hang on.
You want to take some weight off it?
Or could you take your arm away?
Sorry, mate.
I'm a bit afraid. Hey, just lift it up. You need to lift it up a little.
Maybe you can't.
That's getting pretty close.
Tiny.
Try and find something I can lever off.
Yep. Again. 2-3 mil.
There's another long bolt, or is that one going to work?
Wait.
Oh, here we go. Steve thinks of everything. This is Steve, the newest member of our mechanic team. He's been working hard with Ryan on our Oz Armour Fest ride vehicles. He's also an engineer and the author of the Subaru Performance Handbook. My hero, Steve.
Too long, is it?
High grade Chinese.
The boys are going to try this porta power to push the turret basket straighter in order to line it up with the holes.
You got the other end, Steve?
Yep.
Let's push it. Hopefully it's going to push it across. Put on the ring. Oh, right under the foot.
Lovely.
Wunderbar.
Right, that's 3.
It takes a little bit longer, but eventually all 4 of the main bolts are in, which is good enough for our purposes at this stage. It's turret time. Ron fitted the gun a while back already. He's only been here for a few weeks, but the progress he's made with this is just wild.
Looks good.
This strap will ensure the tines don't spread apart as he lifts the turret onto the tank. There are no lifting points on the turret, so we'll just have to make do.
It's nearly in the right position anyway.
You happy with where it is?
I'll probably need someone in there just to line the holes up.
I've got about... See, Curdy needed me after all, mate.
Daryl is going to have to put some small bolts through holes in the ring to help locate the turret as it's lowered down.
Get out of there.
I'm coming out. Hold on, not yet. Kurt's filming me fall out of the tank.
Kurt nearly fell over just then.
Yep, clear. Come back out. Yeah.
He's out.
Pull that gun around to the front and she's going to look $1 million.
It's like Wipeout. Nice one, Ron.
I know a lot of you are probably not fans of the Rust look, but honestly to me, it really does have a sort of charm of its own. You can even see the original unit markings. The next job on Ron's list is to patch up this missing piece of armour on the side and to hang the door.
Get that other latch on the inside there.
Not too low again.
It's got it.
We have 96 forward, and on the back side 97, roughly 2 mil.
We'll make up that with the slack in the hinges. So that'll shut there.
Oh! No, just kidding. I broke it.
Yep.
always the last one.
Done it up. Fairly quick on this one, it's tight. So I've just cut. I've got to cut those lifters off and give it some exercise. Yeah, and bend that. It'll be perfect. Now, just got to shape that.
That's the missing armour and the side door done. Now for the grenade mesh, a unique feature of Australian Grant tanks designed to give it standoff protection against satchel charges, anti-tank grenades and magnetic mines. They're a really cool addition to the tank, but they're a little bit tricky to fit.
Oh, nicht mit meinen Klugfingern.
Looks like we're going to have to cut some of these shorter. You got that one? So we've got another one for here, I think. Well, here's the one you need.
Which other side?
The other side, left side.
It's a bit of a fiddly one, Ron.
Yeah. These are new old stock, never used.
To be undone. Hang on, we still need to move a little here. Just put Zimmer in.
Of course, the German says just put Simmered on.
Okay.
With a few final details like these track grousers, we're ready to take it over to the museum for display. This Leopard ARV has been an invaluable vehicle for us. There's very little it can't drag around. few vehicles in the way of its proper spot in the Australian section of the museum. We'll be moving it there after Oz Armour Fest. As I said earlier, no one knows Australian Grant tanks like Ron, so we caught up for a chat about his own restoration adventures.
When I was 11 years old, back in 1976, my mum and dad took me for a drive, and my brother, out to a place that my dad had heard about. And when we got around the corner, there in front of me was some old tanks on the side of the road, abandoned out on this backcountry road. Off we get out of the car and climb all over these things. You can see I'm standing on the front of this Grant tank, trying to look like a tank commander, checking the ground in front of me. One thing I remember was climbing all over these machines was this real tank smell. It's just funny how the sensors are all there, and I always remember this tank smell. It's a real oily, metal, probably lead-based paint smell getting right up your nose. When I was 25 years old, I ended up following up a few leads and bought my first Grant tank. My first Grant tank was that exact same hull I'm standing on in that photo at 11 years old. That's the one that I ended up buying first. I've had my hands on a Grant or two in my life. This one here is my 12th one I've rebuilt, and currently at home I've got another 4 to do, and currently here I've got another 3 to do.
Where have they all ended up?
There's some here. I've got a vehicle in the War Memorial. I've got vehicles at the Puckapunyal Tank Museum. Over in America, the New York Armour Museum has got some. Grant tank is in Israel, and a Stuart at Latrun Museum. And there's also a Matilda in the Malta Museum. I absolutely hate selling my vehicles, but I have to move on to the next one. It's an expensive hobby to do, so you got to sell them and just to move on. Unfortunately, that first Grant tank that I was standing on as a kid and I restored to running condition, and I always said I'll never sell this as my first tank, and stupidly I sold it. Yeah, when you're paying off a property and you're trying to support a family and everything, you just have to move these things on. And it actually did help me. It paid for my, my property and home, so it's not a great loss, but I always regret selling that very first Grant tank because it was perfect, not cut, nothing wrong with it, and it actually started out patinaed like this, and then I fully restored it. Yeah, this was a good tank when it was produced. It's just that the fast pace of war caused it to become redundant fairly quickly, especially when they designed the Sherman and put that gun up top. And everybody thinks this was a bad tank, but it wasn't. It did a good job, and it was used right through from the start of the war right through to the end of the war, and it was going to protect Australia. So I actually like the Grant tank. It's got a place in my heart.